Hey, I know this sounds really lame, like who celebrates after 7 days? There are people who are on 7 months, 7 years, or more. Well, 7 days is a celebration to me. So I'm just going to share it, and I'm going to lay out my reasons, and then we'll talk about some of the problems, kind of in reverse order, because usually when you decide to do something, you kind of just justify it with reasons afterwards. So I kind of want to get to like the real why, not the rationalization why. But I'm going to start with the rationalization why just to get that out of the way, because I see these as, yes, rationalizations, but also benefits. So first one out of the way, I have 7 kids now. The twins are about to turn 1 year old. Can you believe that already? It's like crazy. October 26th, they're going to be 1. And then the triplets after that. And of course, Jack and Max. But Jack's at the age now where he's definitely going to remember potentially seeing, not capable dad. And I owe it to every single one of those children to always be not just good, but be the best person I can be for them. I love the kids. So hopefully every parent would. But anyway, and I'm sure they do. But number 2, I also, and these are just like business goals, right? I have a goal of taking House Hack public sooner than I thought. I need to be the best CEO I can be, and being a public CEO would lead to a lot more scrutiny than, private CEO. Like, the worst thing that happens when you're a private CEO is, some scumbag that does nothing goes, "You're a scam!" It's like, well, everybody does that. Everybody's a scam on the internet. But when you're public, like, you're under serious scrutiny, which I actually think is a good thing, because I think we can prove how awesome we are in public and grow even faster and better. But anyway, but in addition to this, I'm waking up at like 3 a.m. almost daily now. I have been since Monday, and it's really impossible. Usually I wake up at like 4:30 or somewhere around that range. So this is an adjustment. You may have noticed I've been posting some videos on the channel before the market open live stream. 3 a.m. wake up, baby. Makes you a real fun party person at night. Not. Sleep usually like now. But anyway, I'm waking up at about 3 a.m. almost daily now, and it's really impossible to drink late and then be functional at 3 a.m. That doesn't work. Obviously I've got other businesses going on as well, from Stock Hack, the financial advice that we do, other startups, the masterminds that we do. These are all really important businesses, and I also need to make sure that I don't look like a clown out in the world, because we all know I've made mistakes. But I don't think I've ever gotten to the real root problem of alcohol yet. And I don't want to make any like promises, because I changed my mind. But I'm kind of making this video because it's really helping me share the experience of what it's like sort of feeling this the first week. And I want to share it because I think what I'm beginning to realize is alcohol is this slippery slope, both over the long term, but also within a night. Like, let me give you an example of a night first. So an example of a night could be like, boom, double shot. Okay, cool. Like, you feel good. I mean, what are you going to blow on like a breathalyzer? We have like these little portable breathalyzers, which is great. Like a .035, big deal. Okay, you go 4, you're knocking on the door of 08. That's bad. Like, you don't even want to be close to that, right? Ever. Like, that's just bad. And then what happens is you go past, and the reason I say you don't want to be close to 08, not because of the legal driving limit, you should never drink and drive, but like, you're going to feel that in the morning. 2, like when you're under .04, you're probably not really going to have any effects the next morning, but the problem is 2 leads to 4. That you're going to feel in the morning. And now you're feeling even better. But this is where the slippery slope comes in. Then you go for another. Well, as soon as you have one more, you're at like a 0.1. Well, 0.1, this is where you kind of go in the direction of like, you're going to be less functional. You're probably going to be 30% less functional in the morning. And I'm not even talking about waking up at 6 a.m. or 3 a.m. I'm talking about like even waking up at a normal time, 8 a.m. you're going to be less functional once you cross that 0.1 threshold. Obviously, then if you keep drinking at that point, that's when you just get like brownout or blackout, and that's stupid. That actually rarely was my problem. Obviously, when and if getting to that level, you turn into a clown, and it's just bad. Like, you would never want to see really anyone in that kind of state. And that's one of the things that I find that's really challenging is that in the moment slippery slope. If you're at a party or a celebration, or you're celebrating a birthday or Christmas or whatever, even if it's at your home, or hopefully, you certainly should never be driving. But the point is, it's so easy to go from the first, okay, you've loosened up your judgment, the first double, to now I'm at hangover level, to, okay, now I'm not functional, I'm 30% less functional the next morning, to, maybe one more drink, and now you have no ability to say no anymore, and just keep going. That's not good. Now, fortunately, I will be transparent. It's been years since I've ever vomited from alcohol, and I only say that because, well, it's probably a bad thing, because I feel like that's the other slippery slope, is I feel like in the past, if I had 5 shots, I was vomiting that night. Well, now it feels like I can have 10. And it's not like I weigh like twice as much as I used to. My weight's kind of generally relatively stable. So I think what that means is this sort of tolerance gets built up over time. And so now you have to have more, which just sort of leads you to want to have more. It makes it easier to have the next one. And this is that slippery slope I'm talking about. I mean, I remember, even 12 years ago, it's like, oh, you could have like a shot and a glass of wine, and you're like, man, now it's like, do I feel anything, right? But again, the further you go, the more you want, and the easier it is to keep going. It's not like it's harder to keep going. It's easier to keep going. And so it's really bad, especially then, if you have relationships around you. What if you say something stupid? What if you do something stupid? The good news is nothing bad has happened. Like, Lauren and I are good. We were just on a date night, and it's funny. They know us so well. They brought us 2 Mai Tais and the food. And I'm like, guess you're having 2, Lauren. She's like, good, I wanted 2 anyway. I had not a single sip. And he was sitting right there. But what was really interesting, and I think this, I don't know what it is, but we did this Napa Valley wine tour last Friday. And it was fun. We great company. We had a blast. It was just a day trip. We flew there, wine toured, and flew back in the same day, and then Ubered home, obviously. Well, I think McKay drove me. Thanks, McKay. But he's Mormon, in case anybody doesn't know. I guess they don't drink alcohol, which I respect that. I think it's kind of cool. But the next days, I was looking at alcohol. I'm like, man, I don't want anything. I feel disgusted. I feel like it's just been overdone. And even yesterday, I was in D.C., and we were at a bar. We're eating snacks. My snack was celery. Because we're doing also like a weight loss competition, which is sort of like a different thing we could talk about. We have this exercise competition going on, quick tangent. Exercise competition where the goal is how much weight can you lose by the end of the year. And then from there, you have to gain weight. So kind of like we're trying to pull the Larry Kudlow V-shaped recovery. Anyway. But yesterday I'm looking at this menu and I'm like, I just don't have a desire for any of this. So I don't know. It's possible that a week ago could have just sort of like contributed to no thanks. But I do see Oh, well, I mean, then you have to also look at just the caloric intake. I mean, every technical shot of alcohol is probably, 100 calories. If it's tequila, if it's a beer, a 5-ounce alcohol beer, a 12-ounce or whatever is probably around 150 calories just in alcohol. Then you got to add the barley and the hops and stuff like that. Like the caloric intake, 5 drinks a night could be 400 or 500 calories. In the span of a week. 500 calories is literally a pound of fat. That's crazy when you do the math like that. 5 drinks a night, 7 days in a row. Not that I would have 5 drinks a night anyway, but that's wild to think about. It's almost a pound. But anyway, I think overall this is going to be really, really useful for many different purposes. One, 7 kids. This is gonna be great. It's gonna be, I think, put me in a lot better place for them, and I think I'll have a lot more energy for them too. Number 2, it's really important for just being a publicly facing, essentially walking entity, if you will, for all the various different businesses, whether it's, what we're doing in our courses or our live streams, or not that I drink in the morning anyway, or our, masterminds or financial advice, whatever. But then also the recognition that, this is a substance that can lead to an easier slippery slope, and then you make oopsie doopsies. And nobody wants oopsie doopsies. So if you want to avoid oopsie doopsies and you want to maximize your productivity, probably all a good thing. So again, I know it's like a stupid kind of thing to celebrate over. I don't even know why I make a video on it, but I thought some people would be curious, so I thought I'd share it. Anyway, hopefully that's insightful. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for always being here and supporting, and we'll see you in the next one.